welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and this is my big thank you for getting me to 1,500 subscribers. It means a lot to me, and in the spirit of Infinity War, which comes out in less than a week, well, it comes out a week from today, but I'm seeing it on Thursday and I'm very excited. Today I'm going to be ranking all 18 Marvel films. Now, I've seen plenty of videos about people's rankings of movies and franchises and stuff like that, and I just want to clarify one thing, that these are my opinions, completely my opinion, and everyone's going to have a different list, and everyone's going to have different movies in different places for different reasons, and this is just my personal list. I based it off of movies that I find myself always wanting to rewatch, are usually closer to the top. Movies that I just have an incredible amount of respect for, and then just sheer enjoyment of them in general. So that's pretty much how I made my list. I'm just gonna get right to it because this could be a very long video if I don't keep it concise. But again, these are my opinions, and this list was incredibly hard to make. I actually had to divide it into phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 as I did my Marvel rewatch. And even then, even when I did it just by movies in each phase, I could barely do it. And then when I had to put them all together, it was even harder. So it's been a struggle, but I'm kind of happy with my list right now, but just let me just say that it could change at any minute. And it's probably changed since I made this list 2 days ago. So we'll see. Okay. Number 18, I have The Incredible Hulk. The first time I saw it, I was really young, and I watched it again for my Marvel rewatch, and frankly, I could barely sit through it. I don't know what it was about the movie, but I just wanted to stop watching it the whole time. Maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I don't know. For that reason, it's last on my list. I just don't find myself ever wanting to rewatch this film. I think Edward Norton did a good job, but at this point in time, I see Mark Ruffalo as the Hulk. And there's just a lot of weird continuity things in terms of how it fits in the MCU, and I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite, so it is at 18. Number 17, I have Thor: The Dark World. I've seen this movie once, and ever since I've seen it, honestly, it wasn't one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but I have not had the urge to rewatch it at all. And for that reason, it is at number 17, especially after Thor Ragnarok. I just think the comedy route is better for the Thor character. So that's why it is at number 17. Number 16, I have Iron Man 3. Now, I actually have a lot of respect for what they tried to do with this film. I really like the PTSD, anxiety approach that they took with Tony Stark, but in the end, I don't think that they took the character as seriously, or the villains as seriously as they should have. I honestly think it would have been more effective if they had spread out the Iron Man movies the same way they did with Thor. If we could have had an Iron Man 3 more recently, I don't know, I just think that would have been more effective. I didn't like the whole approach with what they did with Pepper. I just had some problems with the movie, and for that reason, it is at number 16. Number 15, I have Thor. Overall, I thought this film was kind of exciting to watch. I definitely liked the fish out of water comedy that they did with it, but the whole first half of the film, and this is definitely intentional, but I just hated Thor so much for the beginning chunk of the film that I don't like rewatching it, because I don't like disliking characters. The personality that Thor has in the beginning is so obtuse, and for that reason I don't rewatch this movie often, and it is at number 15. However, I do like the world building and the aesthetics and the costume design and all of that, and everything that Kenneth Branagh did, and the introductions to the characters. I thought Loki was introduced very nicely, and Thor's character arc was done very well. But again, it's just kind of hard for me to watch sometimes. So for that reason, it is at number 15. And number 14, this may be controversial to some of you, but I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And let me just say, I do love the Guardians of the Galaxy. I love them so much. But for this movie, I don't know what it is exactly. I think it's mainly that I was expecting it to be more fun like the first one, but it was just so depressing to me, the whole thing. All the storylines, they were just too sad for me. And then I loved what they did with Nebula and how they fleshed out her character more. And I loved the introduction of Mantis. So there's definitely a lot of things going for the movie. But me personally, ever since I've seen it, I have not wanted to rewatch it because, frankly, when I watched it, it just made me feel really upset. And maybe it'll go higher if I watch the movie more. But at the moment, it is at number 14 on my list. Number 13 is Iron Man 2. Now, for me, I actually love Iron Man 2. The whole first half of the film, I acknowledge that Tony Stark is just terrible, and I don't like it at all. I actually hate the way he acts for a lot of the film, but the dialogue in that movie is so well written that I forgive it. And I love the way that they recently said that Peter Parker is in the Iron Man 2 film. I like the different ways they saw the suit upgraded in the movie. With Justin Hammer, I thought he was an interesting character. Loved the way he talked. Again, the dialogue was just so good. Iron Man 2 is a movie that I actually very much enjoy watching. I'm not sure why. I think it's just because I like Tony Stark so much. But I don't know. I wanted to put the movie higher on my list, but again, the character flaws that are just so obvious, and the whole thing with the party, and he peed in his suit, and it was too much for me sometimes. So I had to put it at number 13. And so number 12 for me, and I thought this movie would be higher, but there's so many other movies on this list. Ant-Man. I adored Ant-Man for the first time I saw it. I was one of those people, I was not a fan of Marvel yet when it came out. And I was like, why are they making a movie called Ant-Man? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. They've officially gone too far. But this movie was so perfectly well done with the comedy. It definitely didn't take itself too seriously, which was essential considering it's Ant-Man. And I love the size manipulation that's done throughout it. I actually cannot wait for Ant-Man and the Wasp because I love Paul Rudd and I love his character and I love Evangeline Lilly, and I'm very excited to see where they go. I thought Ant-Man stole the show in Civil War, and overall I thought this movie was very good. The reason it's not higher on my list is because, again, same with all the other movies, is that I don't find myself wanting to rewatch it as much. Yeah, I love Ant-Man, but this is where it's going to sit on my list. Number 11, I have Captain America: The First Avenger. This is another movie that I thought would be higher. Let me just, quick disclaimer here. Every movie on this list from now on, let's just say I thought it was going to be higher. But I'm going to say Captain America: The First Avenger is at number 11, mainly because it just can't top the other ones for me, but I do think that this film was very good. I very much enjoy watching it. I love seeing the World War II period aspect of it. I thought they did a very good job setting up Steve Rogers as a character. He's very admirable. He's so lovable. And it really makes me fall in love with the character all over again every time I watch it. And for that reason, it's as high up on my list as it can get. I don't really have anything else to say about it, but I do love this movie, and I'm surprised that it's only at number 11. But number 10, and this will kill some of you, because I know many people have it as their number 1. But number 10 for me is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This is an amazing movie in my eyes, truly. But if I'm honest, the thing I watch it for the most is the fight sequences with the Winter Soldier. I think the Russo brothers are outstanding at directing fight sequences. But in general, just the whole plot with Steve Rogers and him mistrusting S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury being like dead or not dead. I don't know. I thought it was the most engaging the first time I watched it. And now, again, I think it holds up the most with the fight sequences. I do love the movie. I 100% respect it. I think it's incredibly well made. I love the political thriller kind of route that they took with it. I think Black Widow had a really nice role in the movie. And overall, it was very well crafted. but just some parts of it aren't as entertaining to me as they once were, and for that reason, if I want to rewatch the movie, I usually just YouTube the fight scenes and watch those because they are outstanding. And the on your left running scene, that's brilliant. And I love the introduction of Sam as well. But other than that, I think that's just where the movie is going to sit on my list. I apologize if it offends any of you, but again, this is my personal list, and we're going to move on now. But that Captain America Winter Soldier is at number 10. Number 9, I have Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, for me, and let me just say, my weakness is characters being together in a movie. And so for that reason, I could not put Avengers Age of Ultron any lower than number 9 on this list. I love the conversations. I love the Who Can Lift Mjolnir banter that was going on. I thought Ultron had some pretty clever dialogue. He could have been a stronger villain, but I thought with what they gave him, it was pretty good. I loved the introduction of Vision. I hate the fact that Tony Stark had to make the mistake he did with Ultron, but I thought it was actually a very interesting plot point that he did. And it contributed a lot to his character arc. I actually do enjoy the Black Widow Bruce Banner romance, which for a long, long time I didn't. But recently I have been coming around to it. Again, I thought Avengers Age of Ultron was actually very interesting, and I enjoy watching it when I watch it. There are parts that are hard to watch again, but for the most part, I think it's very entertaining, and yeah, I just love seeing all the Avengers together. It's my weakness. And number 8 on my list is, and I'm actually very surprised that it's this low, but Thor Ragnarok. I love Thor Ragnarok so much. Watched it the other day with my friend. It's hilarious. I always laugh at the same parts. Korg is amazing. Taika Waititi took the character in an amazing direction. The colors, the music, everything. I loved what they did with Valkyrie and her background. I loved the further exploration of the world building of Asgard. I loved Hela. I loved Loki. Everyone. I thought it was so well done. And I thoroughly enjoy it every time I watch it. The reason it's only at number 8 is because now that I've seen it twice, I don't feel that I need to watch it again for a while. But as I said, this list will move around as time goes by. If I go a while without watching one movie, it'll probably be higher on my list because I'll be like, I have to see it again, it's so good. But right now, I think it's just where it is on my list. I love Thor, but this is just, I guess, where the movie's gonna have to sit. And then number 7, I have Doctor Strange. I love this movie. I love Benedict Cumberbatch. This was actually, and this is why this movie is very important to me, because this movie is the first Marvel movie that I saw in a theater. I had gotten into Marvel a few months before that, and I watched them all on demand and on DVD and stuff like that. But this was the first one where I got to finally initiate myself and say, yes, I am finally going to go see a Marvel movie, and I'm going to do it on opening night, and it's going to be great. And for that reason, Doctor Strange holds a very special place in my heart, and I loved this movie. I thought it was incredibly interesting. I loved the whole different universe building, what they did with the visual effects, how they introduced magic. I thought it was so well done. And I think the storyline is just very interesting. I know some people say it's a lot like Iron Man. It is. But honestly, I don't think I could get sick of watching Doctor Strange. I think it's really good. Some people get annoyed with the comedy in the movie, but for some reason it doesn't annoy me at all. Maybe there's one too many jokes, and I will admit that, but I don't hold them against the movie at all. I love it. I truly love it. Moving on to number 6. Right after I saw this movie, I probably would have had it at number 2, but I've only seen the movie once. I was going to go see it again today, but I realized I just don't have time because it takes me a long time to get to a movie theater. It takes me about an hour, or I have to pay an Uber, which I would never do alone. So for this reason, purely because I've only seen it once and I feel like I haven't seen it enough to get the entire experience, Black Panther is sitting at my number 6 spot. Again, right after I saw the movie, it was probably at number 2, but now that time has passed, I feel like I'm starting to forget some of the best parts, which is annoying me, which is why I want to see it again before an Infinity War, but I don't think I'll be able to, which is unfortunate. But from what I can glean, I would say that Black Panther is rightfully at number 6 because, again, I've only seen it once. I loved this movie very much. It actually made me cry for the same reasons that Wonder Woman did, and I think it's incredibly important, and I love it, and it's outstanding. I can only put it at number 6 because I haven't seen it enough times, but again, I enjoyed it. And moving on to number 5. Number 5, I have Spider-Man Homecoming. I absolutely love this movie so much. Tom Holland, I think, is the best Spider-Man. I grew up on Raimi, and then when I was a preteen, kind of early teenager, the Andrew Garfield versions came out. So I grew up on the other 2 Spider-Mans. I knew them as Spider-Man. When they said they were casting another Spider-Man, I was like, this is ridiculous. They're doing way too many versions of the character. No one's going to want to go see it. It's stupid. But then I got into Marvel, and I watched Civil War, and I researched Tom Holland, and I was like, wow, this is actually better. This is so much, it like actually felt like it was done right. And it's more like the comics, in my opinion. I don't know. I very much like this movie. I love the inclusion of Tony Stark. I love the different approach, the high school view of it. I love how they did a ground level view of the MCU, how they opened it with right after the Battle of New York. I loved the take on the Vulture. I loved the film by Peter Parker, which I hope they do in all 3 Spider-Man movies. And yeah, overall, this movie is one that I watch over and over again. I love it. I own it twice. Need to sell one of them. And I absolutely love it. I think the only thing that is going against it is that sometimes it's hard to rewatch it and watch Peter Parker make the decisions he does. Because I'm like, no, Tony called the FBI. Don't go to, no, But it's like, it's hard. But some parts of it also never get old. I love this movie so much. I get excited every time I watch it, and I'm always in the mood to watch it again. So for that reason, it's at number 5. And now it's getting really tricky. Number 4, I have Guardians of the Galaxy. The music, this is the kind of music I grew up on. I love it. It's just perfect. This movie branches outside of the realm of superhero films, and anyone could be a fan of this movie. The comedy is perfectly well done. The action is perfectly well done. Beautiful world building. It's just, the Guardians are so lovable, and it's so well made, and I have so many props for James Gunn. It's insanely well done with a weird and challenging and difficult story and group of characters that weren't that popular. I think it was incredibly well handled. The colors are beautiful, and I, again, will always enjoy watching this movie. I will always, and after watching it again for my Marvel rewatch, it ended up higher on my list than it was originally because I thought, wow, I really love this movie and I should watch it more. So for that reason, it is at number 4. Number 3, I have Iron Man. For a little while there, I thought Iron Man was going to be my number 1. I'm not going to lie. I love Tony Stark, and I love this movie. I think Jon Favreau did an amazing job setting up the MCU. I love the Iron Man suit in the original one. I love how Tony's character arc is developed. It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. I'll never get tired of watching it. It's just so thoroughly entertaining to me, and I absolutely adore this movie. It won't get old to me. I love it. I love the dialogue. I love how Tony Stark handles himself in the movie. I love how he speaks. I love that Jebediah ended up being the villain and how he like backstabbed him at that part is just like, oh my god, every time I watch it. And I love it. And for that reason, Iron Man is my number 3 pick. I will never get tired of watching it. I love it. And it just made me love Iron Man. Number 2. And now number 1 and number 2 were very hard for me. It took me a very long time to figure out which one I was putting at number 1 and which one I was putting at number 2. And this is, again, by no means which one is the better movie. It's just, in my personal opinion, which one I enjoy watching more. And number 2, I have The Avengers. This is the OG. This is literally where they all came together, and it's amazing. I started to like watching it more recently than I did before. That's because originally I hated how much they were fighting in the beginning, but now that I'm studying film and I see the canted angles and everything and how well it's shot and put together, I love it so much more, and I love watching them banter. I love the dialogue. I love seeing them all together. It makes me all giddy. And the battle of New York, it's so well done and so good, and I love Loki in the film. I love all the characters in the film. They're so well done. They're so well developed. This movie deserved the success it got. It deserved how good it came out and how well it's beloved because it earned it. It's very well done. It will never get old. I mean, it's amazing. It's so much fun to watch. It's exciting. It's hard not to smile when they all finally band together in that one circle shot and they're fighting together. It's actually impossible not to smile. And the fact that the Avengers theme is integrated into the battle, it's just amazing. I love this movie so much, and it makes me all giddy to think about, and I love it. And for that reason, it is at number 2. And number 1, I'm sure you guys have guessed it by now because I haven't said it yet, is Captain America Civil War. For the same reasons I said earlier about why Age of Ultron and Avengers and all these other movies are so high on my list, is character pairings and characters being together in the same universe is my absolute weakness. I've loved it my entire life. When children's shows did crossovers, it was my weakness as a kid, and it's still my weakness today because I love seeing all my beloved characters in one place, and it's beautiful. And having the Avengers with Black Panther and Spider-Man, and then it's and Ant-Man, it's my weakness. It is so good. And I know it doesn't have Thor or the Hulk, and I love both those characters, and it doesn't have Doctor Strange yet either, but this movie is so entertaining to me. The fight sequences are amazing. I love the storyline that they did with Winter Soldier. Every time I watch it, it makes me feel so conflicted. Halfway through the movie, I'm like, I'm totally on Cap's side. And then at the end of the movie, I'm like, I'm totally on Tony's side. And then I never know which side to be on because they're both right, and they both jumped to conclusions and jumped into fighting when they didn't need to. And like the Sokovia Accords aren't 100% right, but they're not 100% wrong either. And it's just like, it's so much fun to watch because I have an internal battle with myself every single time I watch it, and I love it so much. And I own it, and I love the bonus features, and I love watching the Russo brothers at work. And for that reason, I'm very excited to see Infinity War because I can't wait to see what they do with it. And I think they did an amazing job of balancing all the characters in Civil War. Now they have twice as many characters, more than that. This movie just makes me really happy. It introduced Black Panther, who's an amazing, incredibly lovable character, and it made me so excited to see a character on screen that I had known nothing about prior. I love it so much. It introduced Spider-Man. The airport battle was incredibly well done. The whole thing is just fabulous. I love it. Marvel holds a very special place in my heart. Now I care about comics in general, superhero films in general, and I have a much greater appreciation for them, and I love that. I love that I'm finally a fan of this. I have no regrets. And that is my list, everyone. Again, this is my personal list. Please don't hate on me in the comments. We all have our own reasons for picking movies. We all have our own life experience that it contributes to our liking movies in different ways. I would love to know, though, what is your list? If you can do it, share the whole thing down below. If you have a definite favorite, let me know. If you have a definite least favorite, let me know. If you disagree with me, or if you agree with me, any of my opinions, if you had any shared experiences of, oh my god, this moment was just perfect for me, let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions on this. Thank you guys so much for getting me to 1,500 subscribers. That's absolutely insane. I love you all so much. I want to hear from you in the comments. Give this video a huge thumbs up if you liked it, if you wanted me to do more ranking videos like this. I considered doing a heroes one. If you want me to rank the Marvel heroes, I will try, but I don't think I can. I think that might be too hard. But let me know. Subscribe if you want to see more videos and Marvel coverage from me. I will be reviewing Avengers Infinity War in less than a week. I'm so excited. There will be a non-spoiler review, a spoiler review, a what to expect in Avengers 4, all of it. It'll be all up. I'm also going to do a video about what I expect to happen in Infinity War, or what I want to see. That'll be probably going up this weekend. I don't know. It depends on when I have time to film it. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this video. It was kind of long. I'm going to try and cut it down. And thank you for taking the time to care about my opinions in terms of where I ranked the Marvel movies. It's okay if you skipped through it just to get to the numbers. I 100% understand because I've done the same thing. But you can check out some more of my videos, my trailer reactions, my Marvel coverage, all of that right now. And I will see you guys later. I hope you all have a good day. Bye.